Sandy, do you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
That'd be great, Ron. Thanks. My name is Sandy Schussel. I am a business and life coach. I work with two basic markets that have evolved over the years. One is financial and insurance professionals who have passed the stage where they were struggling, but they reach a point where they plateau and they can't seem to get any further in their business. And there's an industry cause for that. The other group that's evolved over time, I mean, I've worked with all kinds of people. I actually worked with a woman who wanted to dance for the Rockettes, and she needed a coach to help her get there. But the other market that's evolved over the years that comes to me mostly when one CEO refers business to me from another is with CEOs of companies, and I've worked with companies both in the U.S. and Canada who started the business maybe in their garage, and now it's grown to 60 people, and all of a sudden they've lost control of it and they want to try and get that control back. And so most of my clients are the financial and insurance professionals, but I've always got one or two of the CEOs.
Whoa, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. So, Sandy, with the people you work with, what are the main problems you see?
Okay, that's a great question, Ron. The financial and insurance professionals, the main problem is they get stuck on that plateau where last year they earned a certain amount of money, and this year they're working twice as hard, and they basically get back to the same place. And that can go on over and over again. When you're new, the big struggle is getting in front of enough qualified people, the people that would be interested in your services, that need your services and understand the value of them. But when you've done that for a while and you've been established and people know what you do, you reach that point where you're just not growing. And there are a lot of reasons for it. There's an industry reason for it, and that is trying to do the same things that you did to get where you are just going to get you back to the same place. And in order to increase it, the first thing that advisors do is they try and work harder. I'm going to work more hours. And nobody should have to work more hours just to get back to more or less the same place. Then they start doing what I call chasing shiny objects. So somebody says, well, why don't you pay to do these dinner seminars? And they pay to do the dinner seminars, and maybe they get a new client or not, but they spend $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 on these seminars, and they're not getting anywhere. And then maybe they try buying lists of names of people who've expressed an interest in getting insurance or talking to a financial advisor. And the problem with that is expressing an interest is not the same thing as absolutely wanting the service. And so they don't get what they need. They talk to a lot of people. And sometimes those names were given to other people, so you got to be fast and you get there first. So all those different things they try. Some people find a successful advisor and pay that advisor to teach them everything he knows, and then they try it and it doesn't work the same way for them. And the bottom of that, Ron, is that first of all, it's how you're looking at the world around you, how you're looking at the business and the people you work with and the people that process your paperwork, and a difference in view. If you have two advisors who are in the same town with the same skills, doing the same thing, the one who views the world as, well, this is a safe place and there's endless opportunity is going to do better than the one who says, this is a hard business, this is a struggle. So the first thing is what's going on in their heads. The second thing is they have these great clients that they just don't pay enough attention to. And those clients could give them more business, and they could also introduce them to people that need their service, but they're not going to do that if they're being ignored. So that's the second issue they have. The third issue that they have is everybody's trying to please everybody. They're trying to be a generalist for everybody. Oh, you need me for life insurance, you need me for this, you need me for that, you need me for financial advice. I don't care if you're young or old or in business or not in business. And what happens is, you know, that old saying, being a jack of all trades, you're an expert in none of them. And people want to work with experts. So I work with advisors to help them figure out who they want to work for, what the niche is that they want to work in, and what they need, how they need to approach that niche. So that's an area we go. And one of the big challenges is not knowing how to do some of that stuff so that they can get introduced to great new clients.
Okay, so we see there's some problems out there. Sandy, like, you've been doing this a long time. Like, what's the solution?
Great question. The first thing is to approach it in pieces, always keeping in mind that we, in our minds, decide that we're not comfortable doing something, so we don't do it. We decide we're not good at something, so we back away from it. And so the first part of the solution is to work on the way you're thinking. And when it comes to a CEO that's lost control of his business, it's the same thing as how are you doing the world? How are you seeing it? And as a coach, I have a lot of tools to help people change the way they think. And the first is just to recognize all the negative thinking that you're doing around parts of your work. The second thing is to get really good at going back to your people that you already are working with and making them really happy and serving them really well. And there are lots of people who tell me, oh, I give my clients great service. And when I ask them to show me their top 20 clients, and we go through them one by one, invariably there's a ton of things that they haven't done for some of them. Some of them they've done everything for a ton of. So that's the second part of it is let's get you to have a much better relationship with these people so that you pretty much earn the right to talk to them about introducing friends and family members, and often they'll just do that for them. They'll do that for you without even having you try. The third place is to really look at why you don't have a niche, what would be a good niche, and that way you can focus all of your time, energy, and money, which are the three things that we have to work with. You can focus it on this one group of people so that you're not wasting time and spending hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars chasing everybody in the world. Once you've got that, the next step is to know how to tell them your story. There's a great, if you go back to Simon Sinek in 2013, wrote a book about understanding your why, that people don't buy what you sell because of what you do or what it does. They buy it because of why you do what you do. And I know, Ron, in your practice, you've experienced that. You love what you do, and you have reasons that you do it. And that's what people buy. They don't buy insurance. They buy your enthusiasm for solving their problems. And so I get people to learn, instead of learning an elevator speech, I'm a financial advisor, or I'm a life insurance agent. Instead of buying that. Instead of talking to them about that, you tell them what you believe and why you believe it and how that impacts them. And if it does impact them, it's easy to ask them to sit down and talk with you. And so we get that done. Then we take all of that and we put it together in a marketing plan. And this is for the financial and insurance professionals. And the marketing plan limits you to two things. One is finding the very people that are in that target of yours, in that niche. And the other is finding the people who also serve that niche so that you can do things together to help people. And when you got all that and you really believe you're helping people and not selling, that's the solution. That's the solution. Is I'm not selling, I'm helping people. I know why I'm doing it. I know who I'm doing it for. And they know from me why I'm the only choice that they should be making.
It makes a lot of sense because there's always something new. You have to try this marketing method, but something you said a couple of minutes ago, if you have people you deal with and you're really helping them, I'm thinking, I'm not an expert like you, but if they think of somebody, then they're going to think of you instead of waiting to get some random email from somebody.
Yeah, that's true. So you go from being an unknown in your industry to being somebody that lots of people know. And you pass that stage in the middle where people get stuck of, well, you're sort of successful and some people know you, but that's as far as it goes. You become the person that they want to work with. That comes from being introduced and so on. So when I'm working with financial and insurance people, that's what we focus on.
Okay, that's good to know. So we've talked about some of the problems and some of the things that you do, but can you tell our listeners some of the things that you've done? I know that I heard you speak at a great event. Can you tell us briefly a little about your history and who you deal with and your talks?
Yeah, sure. That would be fun. Look, I had been an attorney. I had been a lawyer. I was good at what I did, but I hated the work. And it really reached the point in my life where I think the 60-hour weeks doing stuff that I didn't like tore me down. And I went through a period of time where I was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. And I went through surgeries and chemo and radiation. And I decided, well, I'm not going back to that business because I believed wholeheartedly that was the reason. And I started to get into, I started a business doing training and speaking around things like how you get clients, how you get your staff to get clients, how you keep your staff happy by letting go of some of the things that owners of businesses used to do. And when and that got me into working with a broker-dealer life insurance company where I became the national sales training director. And so when I decided after 7 years as the national sales training director of this financial and insurance company, that I was already on the outside working with CEOs and other people, I would focus my marketing, just like I teach a niche, on financial and insurance professionals. And I've been doing that now, if I count the time that I was inside the broker-dealer and insurance company, I've been doing this now for 20 years. And I trained as a coach, so I really understand how to get people to help people solve their own problems. And so when we talk, it's really about getting you to see what it is and come up with solutions to fix it. Now, sometimes they can't, and that's when I put the consultant's hat on, and I can teach them something. But most people figure out a lot of it for themselves just by understanding what it is that they've been not seeing. So that's the work that I do.
Okay, and you also do work with the $1 Million Roundtable?
Yeah, so the $1 Million Roundtable, the MDRT Academy, asked me to do a training for them because as I developed this coaching practice, I developed a reputation. I had written 2 books, and the first book that was published was The High Diving Board, How to Overcome Your Fears and Live Your Dreams. And the second book that I published was Become a Client Magnet, 27 Strategies to Increase Your Client Attraction Factor. And so I was also writing for the MDRT blog. I was writing for the Think Advisor, which is another industry online newsletter. And more recently, I've been writing monthly for the Insurance Portal, which is Canadian insurance agents and financial advisors. And so, yeah, my involvement with the MDRT was writing for them and also actually doing a training course for their academy.
And also you speak at their events.
Oh, and I haven't spoken at MDRT events, but I've spoken at many financial and insurance events.
Well, what was the event that you spoke at that I attended?
That was the Canadian Sales Congress.
Oh, wow.
And they are the producers of Insurance Portal, which is the Canadian newsletter. And there were, and you were there. There were over 700.
It was amazing.
700 agents there, and that was a lot of fun talking about being how I see the business that you do, Ron, as being awesome, and trying to get advisors, agents to understand how awesome they really are, because they seem to not always know that, and they're busy seeing themselves as someone who sells insurance and not someone who alters lives for the better every time they make a recommendation.
Okay, so I'd like to, full disclosure, I'd like to tell our listeners that Sandy's not only a friend of mine, I've been a client of his, which I actually paid to get the training. It wasn't just he was a friend, gave me some tips. I found it very successful. Sandy, probably you're one of the people who I attribute to the most of my success in insurance sales in my life. And any money I paid you was well worth it.
Well, thanks for saying that, Ron. In the end, you did the work, but, having someone to guide you is what got me into coaching, because I have a coach and I had a coach. And it's just like people don't understand how valuable it is to have somebody on your side that's both your cheerleader and the one that pushes you more than anybody else. And thank you for saying that, because it obviously worked for you, and I appreciate that.
Okay, so we're nearing the end of this impactful talk. You're amazing as always. I took some notes, learned a few things while I was listening. I'm going to leave all your contact information, and any listener can contact you. or you can contact me directly. I'll put you in touch with Sandy. I'd like to repeat again, I've been a paying client of Sandy's, and I'd say Sandy is not only an amazing coach, I find him to be an amazing person.
Thank you, Ron. And you know that I'm totally fond of you and what you do and how you do it, and how you care about the people that you work for. So I guess it's a mutual admiration society.
Okay, so on that positive note, we're going to end this. Repeating myself, if anybody wants to get in touch with Sandy, I'm going to have contact information, or you contact me and I'll put you in touch with Sandy.
Great. Thanks again, Ron.
Thanks so much for talking to us.
Sure.